Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are going to start our second lecture, the basics of the biology of IGCSE and O levels. And yesterday, the video that you have watched, in which we have studied about few things, I'm just uh, giving a quick review that when I talk about the concepts regarding the biology. Okay, but take one thing in your mind. If you are going to study physics, chemistry, biology, etc., 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 then you must know the basic definition of such kind of things. Okay, what do you mean by biology? Do you
The
have any?
study of organisms.
Okay, very good. That's very good. The study of life or living things. Okay, basically, when I'm just going to describe the things to my students, there are different kind of scientific terminologies that are very much important, and you need to understand and memorize the basic terminologies. If you are able to understand and if you have memorized the basic terminologies, it means you can excel yourself in biology, in chemistry, in physics, etc., etc., etc. Basically, the word biology is a combination of two words. I'm not going in detail. The first word is bio, and the second word that is called logy. Got it? The bio and logy. What's the meaning of bio? When you talk about the bio, what is the concept of bio? Basically, what is the meaning of bio? Do you have any kind of idea regarding bio?
Bio is in like living matter, living organisms.
Okay, and what's the meaning of logy?
The study of something.
Okay, that's very good. Bio means life. Oh, okay. And logy means observations, study, phenomena. That's it. Okay, study and observations that you observe. How can you observe the life? Basically, so you can say that biology is the study of life. But to my students, I say biology is the study about life. It is the study about life. Means you do not only study the living organisms. Instead of living organism, you also study what? You also study the different kind of non-living matters that they have the influence on the living organism. That's why I just described to my students, it's biology means not only study of life, it's study about life. How a life is, how life, what kind of factors that are involved on the life. Now the question is, if anyone who is going to say that biology is the study of life according to the concepts, I will also request to define. Can you define please, what do you mean by life? Is there any definition of life? Yes, Fatima.
Life is anything that follows those seven key terms like respiration, sensitivity, reproduction.
Okay, that's very good. Very good, Fatima. Uh, there are so many definitions and there are so many philosophical definitions of life, but most comprehensive definition is that life is the name of different characteristics. Life is the name of different biological characteristics. This is the name of complex characteristics or group of different characteristics. Life means the thing which is found in living organism. The characters, life is the name of characteristics. Okay, there is a huge difference between characters and characteristics. Okay, life is the name of the characteristics found in a living organism. Okay, you know that what you mean by these characters? You have told me that you have given me one idea. I just forgot to write D here. What are these characters?
So they're part of that that Mrs. Gren thing. It's like movement,
Yeah,
growth.
in my last video that I have also shared here, what are these characters? You can just easily pronounce these characters, and I have prepared one acronym for my students. Basically, this is not one of the unique acronym. Just I modified this acronym, and I just use that C Mrs. Grainer. C Mrs. Grainer. Basically, these are the basic characters that you can identify in all kind of living organisms. Now, what do you mean by C? What do you mean by M? What do you mean by R? What do you mean by S? What do you mean by G? What do you mean by R? What do you mean by E? What do you mean by N? What do you mean by A? Okay, when you talk about these things, now we are just going to focus one here. Let's suppose C, the first letter of this acronym or abbreviation. C means cellular. What's the meaning of that? Cellular. Okay, cellular organization. Cellular. What's the meaning of that? Cellular means each living organism is basically made up of one or more cells. Got it? Now, I'm just moving to the next one. I'm just moving to the next one. What do you mean by that? The next one that I'm going to show here, that is M. What's the meaning of M? M is means movement. Movement or motion is one of the basic component of each and every living organism. But most of the people they say that if movement is particular or basic characteristic of living organism, so plants cannot move. That's not true, beta. What's the meaning of that? When you talk about the movement, I'm just going to give one kind of example of physics. Let's suppose, how can you define the term movement or motion? Let's suppose, I'm just going to give the example. Uh, there is a point A. I'm just going to mention here. There is a point A. I'm just going to define the movement. And there is a point B. Okay, and there is one object or any man, a boy is standing on point A, and he moves from this side to the point B. It means what had happened, basically he's just going to change his position. Okay, from this position to this position, the person is going to change. Okay, it means when we talk about the plants, let's suppose this is a plant. It is just a plant of few months. Okay, and these are the roots, and just what I'm going to do, that this is a plant. Okay, and I'm just going to uh, put a key here. I'm just going to holding a pin here and just saying that the distance between this point where I just nailed in the tree or in that particular plant, that distance is about 1 centimeter. Okay, now after few years, let's suppose after 6, 7, 8 or 9 years, now what is going on here? After 9 or 10 years, what is happening here? Let's suppose this is the same surface, and now the plant has grown. These are the roots, and the plant has grown, and the particular nail that I have put in that point, now because of the growth, the plant cells have been moved up and the new cells have been formed, and the nail has moved here. So during the growth of that plant, the height on my 0 day of calculation was 1 centimeter. Now the height after 10 years, the height is about 190 centimeter. let's suppose, or 19 centimeter. Now what had happened? How this nail moved from this point to this point? Basically, what had happened during the growth, the new cells were formed and they were pushing the old cells to the upside. So we can say that the movement of the plants is totally dependent on the growth and the formation of new cells. And one more thing. Now look at here. What was the diameter of that plant? The diameter, this is the diameter, okay? I'm just making one arrow like this. This is the diameter, okay? Now, what is the diameter after 10 years? The diameter has also expanded. So, the plants not only move in one direction, the plants move in three directions. Now, the plants that moved up as well as the plants in moved in a circular direction. And what about these things? Like there are few branches, like this is one of the branch. I'm just going to say that this was one of the branch. And after 10 years, that was the branch. That was the branch. So you can say that the plants also moved here. The plants can move in that direction. There are three main dimensions or directions like x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. X-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So we can say that the plants can grow in all directions. So plants body can expand in all directions. That's why the plants can change their location with the help of their growing, with the help of growth and with the help of formation of the new cells. It means they are expanding their body, so they show the movement in all directions. The plant movement is found in all directions, in x-axis, in y-axis, as well as in z-axis, and also in a circular direction. And one more thing that I need to share here, beta, when we talk about the movement, in case of movement, there are two type of movements. Number one, this is one of the important thing that I'm going to share, and most of the people they just uh, skip that point because they think that this is not as much important, but this point is very much important regarding your examination point of view. Basically, there are two type of movement. Number one, movement is also called motion. Movement is also called motion. Motion. I'm just using the brackets over there. I'm just going to, okay, this is motion. Okay, now there are two type of motions or movements found in living organisms. Number one is simple motion, which is found in plants. Simple motions, which is dependent on growth and cell divisions. But when you talk about the second type of motion, this is called locomotion. Okay, locomotion. Now, what's the difference in between simple motion and locomotion in the field of biology? Do you have any idea about the simple motion versus locomotion? Yes, beta?
No, sir.
Okay, just I'm going to tell you. When we talk about the simple motion and locomotion, there's a huge difference. Let's suppose there are so many examples also found in animals. I'm just going to share few examples here regarding simple motions. Uh, let's suppose, for example, simple motion means motion of one part of the body, motion of one part, one or two parts, one or few parts of a body but not whole body. Okay, like for example, heartbeat. Our heart beats means the heartbeats, they are basically, they show the cardiac motion. Okay, during the breathing, what happens? During the breathing, what happens? Okay, when we breathe, when we take the oxygen or the air inside our lungs expand. Expansion of the lungs. Okay, peristalsis motion. You have also studied that peristalsis, special type of motion found in a gastrointestinal tract, peristalsis. Okay, and another motion, that is heartbeats. Heartbeats also, they show also the motion, like in a rhythmic motion, the heartbeat, the cardiac muscles motion, the blood vessels motions, and another thing, and blinking of the eyes. This is also one kind of motion. Okay, these are the one kind of motions, like blinking of the eyes, blinking of eyes. Okay, these are the motions. And one more thing, in our cells, when we talk about our cells, in our cells the cytoplasm also moves in a circular direction. This is called cyclosis. Okay, cyclosis is the motion of what? This is the motion of what? This is the motion of cell cytoplasm. Okay, cyclosis is the a cytoplasmic movement. Cytoplasmic movement. Okay, is that clear? Well, basically, you are going to appear in GCSE exam. It's little bit unique as compared to IGCSE and O levels. Okay, now that one. Now that was the thing that I need to share here. Now that was my basic concept, that I was just trying my level best to show you that how can you describe the things in a particular way. Got it? Now, like let's suppose when talk about the cyclosis, like cyclosis, I'm just going to draw another here. Let's suppose this is your cell. This is what this is the nucleus, and this is the cytoplasm. I'm just mentioning here C and P. The cytoplasm that is found here, it is in continuous motion, like the cytoplasm move here, then here, then here, and then here, and then here, and then here. Okay, this is called cyclosis. The cytoplasm is continuously moving from one side to another side of inside the cell. uh, that is also one type of motion that is found in living organism, because we all are made up of cells. One more thing, let's suppose, just raise your hand. If you are raising your hand but not the whole body, this is called simple motion. Now simply, what do you mean by locomotion? Locomotion means complete body movement. Complete body movement. When the body is moving, the complete body movement. Okay, complete body movement. The body is moving from one point to another point. Okay, from one point to another point. Let's suppose you are sitting on a chair and you just stand up. You are just standing up. This is called simple motion, because you are particularly on that point where you were found just some minutes ago. Now what will happen if you move some steps and you move away from that chair where you were sitting? Now you are just dragging out your body from that point to another point. This is called locomotion. The complete body movement from one point to another point. This is called what? This is called locomotion. Now I'm moving towards the next uh, acronym. We have discussed the C means cellular, because we all living organism are made up of one or more cells. These and the second characteristic that is motion or locomotion, and the third characteristic that is called respiration. This is called respiration. What do you mean by respiration, Fatima? Am I audible, beta? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you mean by respiration?
Sir, breathing.
Okay, most of the students they tell me the same answer, but there's a huge difference between breathing and respiration. I'm just going to mention here. Okay, what do you mean by breathing and respiration? Okay, respiration is something else. You may say that breathing is also called the external respiration, but respiration is one type of a complex chemical reaction, or you may say that this is one type of complex chemical reaction, a series of chemical reaction. Just I'm going to highlight here, uh, and I'm making one point here, like just to. I'm not going in detail, but this is the part of the topic that we will also study in particular chapter of respiration versus breathing. Okay, now just respiration is what, breathing is what. Okay, and shukran, alhamdulillah. Respiration versus breathing. Respiration versus breathing. Basically, what do you mean by respiration? Respiration is basically uh, is a cellular mechanism. It occurs inside the cell. It's a chemical reaction, a series of chemical reactions. Respiration is a series of chemical reactions in which organic substance, especially glucose, is oxidized. Glucose is broken down or metabolized. I am using the word metabolized, or the broader term, the catabolized. These are the different terms that you must understand. That what do you mean by that? Catabolized, okay, to get ATP molecules or energy. So, what do you mean by respiration? Respiration is what? Is a series of chemical reactions in which glucose is catabolized. Catabolized means oxidized or broken down. Simply, the glucose molecule is broken down to get energy. So, respiration is the energy yielding process, a process in which we obtain energy. Okay, but what about breathing? And talk about the breathing. What do you mean by breathing? Breathing is what? It's also called external respiration. It is also called external respiration. It's not a cellular mechanism. This is the non-cellular mechanism. Okay, non-cellular means or extracellular mechanism. What do you mean by extracellular? Extracellular means it is found outside the cells, not inside the cells. It's an extracellular mechanism to get to inhale and exhale. Means breathing means we are just getting the air in and getting the air out. Okay, this is called inhale and exhale. Okay, you may also say that in a simpler way, breathing means gaseous exchange of gases. Breathing means gaseous exchange means like we are getting the oxygen and we are just exhaling the what we are exhaling what when we obtain the oxygen from the air.
Carbon dioxide.
That's right. Breathing is something like gaseous exchange. But when talk about the respiration, respiration is not the name of the gaseous exchange. Respiration occurs inside the cell. Okay, it's a cellular. Sometimes respiration is also called cellular respiration. This is also called cellular respiration means respiration always occur inside the cell. Okay, this is intracellular process. There are two terms, extracellular process and intracellular process. What do you mean by intracellular? Sometimes respiration is also called cellular respiration. Why? Because it only occurs inside the cell and it's a series of chemical reactions. Breathing is not a chemical reaction. You have also studied in chemistry that what do you mean by the chemical reactions? In a chemical reaction, a new substance is formed because a new substance is formed. Why? Because the glucose, you have glucose, and glucose is ultimately converting to what? Glucose is converting to a carbon dioxide in water. Glucose is converting to carbon dioxide, CO2, and water. Now you can see that what is the formula of glucose? That is C6H12O6. Am I right? This is the formula of glucose. Now glucose is converting to carbon dioxide in water, but there is no new substance is forming. Just we are just exchanging the material. We are just exchanging the material. You are getting the oxygen and you are just giving out the carbon dioxide. But remember, first of all, what happened? Well, first of all, breathing occur, which is also called external respiration during the breathing. After breathing, when you have performed breathing and you have got what oxygen, now then uh, you may perform the respiration. Breathing, respiration always occurs after breathing. Okay, because breathing provides you the oxygen and this oxygen is used in respiration. Got it? That was the basic concept. Okay, I hope that you have got my point what I need to say.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so breathing is something else. Breathing means just only gases exchange. Okay, this is only the gases exchange, but in case of respiration this is the intracellular process. This is intracellular process. This only occurs inside the cell and breathing occurs outside the cell. Breathe in which and breathing we just exchange the gases, but in respiration glucose is broken down to produce carbon dioxide, water, as well as something like that. This is called energy in the form of heat energy, or we also obtained the ATP molecules. Okay, but the details you will study in A levels also, inshallah. Okay, now we have discussed the C, we have discussed the M, we have discussed the M, R. Now the topic that is S is remaining here. Now, what do you mean by S? S. What's the meaning of S? S.
Sensitivity.
That's good. That's good. What do you mean by the sensitivity?
Sensitivity is the what is the ability to respond to stimuli,
That's good. And what do you mean by stimuli?
changes in the environment.
Yeah, sensitivity means to respond. Okay, let's suppose uh, I have I have some deficiency in my, I have the deficiency of water in my body. What will happen? My body will respond in a feeling of that, of what kind of feeling, in the case of absence of water, the feeling, this is called thirst. Okay, I feel thirst. Okay, if I need some kind of nutrients, I will feel one kind of feeling that is called hungerness. Okay, let's suppose if I'm just going to uh, get a wound by a sharp knife, what will happen? I will just move away my hand. Now these are the different responses that we show when we get different kind of messages from inside of our body or outside of our body. Okay, sensitivity is basically what sensitivity means: to respond when we get the stimulus. Stimulus means a message. Okay, then after we have the topic of G. G means what? What's the meaning of G?
Growth.
Growth. Can you please elaborate the term growth? Because most of the people, they are not able to show the meaning of growth.
I'm not sure, but isn't growth like the new development of cells in the body?
Okay, good, good. Basically, the term growth means there. This is an incomplete term. The growth always occur with a term which is called cell division. Okay, cell division and growth. Okay, but most of the people, they just use the term growth. Growth cannot occur alone, but what's the meaning of cell division and growth? There are two phenomena that occur simultaneously: cell division and growth. Okay, and there is one of the uh, important term that I'm going to share, because most of the people, they do not uh, have any kind of real concept regarding the growth in case of microorganism, but it is the part of your syllabus. At where I will also discuss that point. Okay, growth. The basic definition of growth that I'm going to share here. uh, the basic definition the basic definition of growth. I'm just going to change the size, that is about 8. Okay, 18. Growth means irreversible. This is one of the informative and comprehensive definition of growth. Irreversible increase in cell mass and cell size. Irreversible increase in cell mass and cell size. This is called what? This is called growth. Okay, growth is what? Growth is basically the irreversible increase in cell size and cell mass. Got it? Now, what do you mean by that? Irreversible increase. Irreversible increase. When you talk about the irreversible increase, means what will happen? Let's suppose this there is one cell, okay, and this is called mother cell or parent cell. This is a parent cell, okay. The term that we use, that is called parent cell. Okay. Now, what will happen after some time? The cell will divide into two new cells, and this process is called cell division. But the size of the cell is smaller than the parent cell. These are called the daughter cells. The new term that we use, that is called, what kind of term we will use? This is called daughter cells. Okay, Fatima, you may also visit to my YouTube channel, because I'm with the passage of time, I'm also uploading my these lectures to YouTube. Why? Because most of the people and the students, they want to recall the material, they want to just restore the knowledge. So all of the lectures I'm just going to deliver here. I'm just putting these lectures to YouTube. uh, you may just type uh, the let's learn, and you will get such kind of lectures, and you can just renew your knowledge with the passage of time. Okay, now what is the process here? The one parent cell has is divided into two new cells, and these are called daughter cells. Now this mechanism is basically what? This is called cell division. Cell is going to divide. Am I right? Am I right, Fatma? Is it cell division or something else?
Cell division.
Okay, good. But what is the difference? The difference is that the size of the parent cell is much larger as compared to the daughter cells. Now, what will happen after some time or with the passage of time, the cell will expand. The cell will expand and they will get the size, okay? They will get the size of this just like their parent cell. Now they reach to the maximum size. Now what will happen? This is called basically what this is called growth. This is called growth because in the growth, what is going on in the growth? Now the cell size and the cell mass is going to increase. Now what I have mentioned, the definition, growth is an irreversible increase in the cell mass. One time if the cell mass has been increased, what will happen? It will not decrease. and and then after, there's another phenomena will happen, just like that. When cell division occur, after cell division growth occur, and when growth occur, then again the cell division occur, means these cells again, when they have reached to their maximum size and maximum mass, they are ready to divide their cells again. Now the last, there are few terms. Okay, I have just 1 or 2 minutes, that then after my class will be diminished. But before going to complete that, I need to complete that basic definition, and inshallah tomorrow we will study the next lecture of chemistry. Okay, now we'll talk about the next term, that is called R means what do you mean by that? What
Reproduction.
reproduction? Reproduction means formation of new organism from the old one. You know that definition. I'm not going in the detail. Just keep that thing in your mind. There are two type of reproductions: sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. We will discuss that term inshallah in our next lectures, when we will study in detail the topic of reproduction. Okay, now the next term, that is called what? That is called what? E for
Excretion.
excretion. What do you mean by excretion? Okay,
The removal of waste substance, toxic like waste substances from
what
the
kind of
body,
what kind of waste substances?
like sweat or urine.
Okay, so I'm just going to write here, removal of metabolic waste. Okay, just just get the one word here, metabolic waste. Okay, and remember, when we breathe out, we only just moved out only 35% of our carbon dioxide. Most of the carbon dioxide is used in our body to form the carbonic acid. Okay, that was the thing. But most of the people, they do not know that topic. Okay, so that's why I use the word metabolic. What's the meaning of metabolic? Means when I use the term metabolic. Okay, what's the meaning of that? Metabolic means biochemical reactions, okay, or biological reactions. The reactions or biochemical, during the biochemical reaction or the chemical reactions which occur inside the cell or inside the living organism, we produce different kind of chemicals. Like during the respiration, this is also a metabolic reaction. Okay, during the chemical reaction we also produce the carbon dioxide, but most of the carbon dioxide is used inside our body, but the remaining carbon dioxide can harm our body, that's why it is moved out. Okay, now when you are going to define the term metabolism, just keep that thing, metabolism means the biochemical reaction. Now beta, we have done with growth, reproduction, excretion. What do you mean by N?
Nutrition.
Now, can you please define the nutrition?
Sir, I'm not sure actually.
Okay. Basically, when you talk about the nutrition, nutrition means the ability to get nutrient for to get nutrient for energy for different raw materials. Nutrition basically is one of the ability of living organism, and this is the ability to obtain what? This is the ability to obtain. Uh, I'm just going to, first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to increase the size, not little bit like that. Okay. When we talk about the nutrition, is the ability to get the nutrients, nutrients for energy and for different raw material need required to a cell. Okay, required for a cell. Okay, raw material of metabolism. I'm just going to that at metabolism and cell. What's the meaning of metabolism? Means biochemical reaction. Metabolism and cell. Okay, let's suppose we need uh, iron. Why do we need iron? Because iron is required by the red blood cells. Am I right? We need zinc for different kind of enzymatic reactions. We need nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, etc. And for that we need to get carbohydrates, protein, and etc. 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 So these are the nutrients that are needed to our body, and we get these things from external environment. Okay, then now the last one, the topic, that is A. What's the meaning of A?
Adaptation.
That's good, very good. And most of the books, the topic is missing, adaptations. Okay, what do you mean by adaptations or adaptation?
It is the changes in a body to fit the certain environment.
Yes, change according to environment. Change or the changes. Adaptation means change or changes. There might be one or more than one. Change or changes. CHAN. Change and changes according to environment. According to environment. Basically, that was my lecture of today, and I need to show you that these are the basic things, and most of the people, they do not know the basic definition like movement and locomotion, simple locomotion and growth, etc., etc., etc. So in my today lecture, what we have studied the basic definition of biology. That is what, this is the study about life, not study of life. And what do you mean by the life? Life is basically the basic characteristics found in a living or living organism. And what are the characters? I have mentioned that these are the characters called C, Mrs. Grena. C means cellular, M for movement, R for respiration, S for sensitivity, G for growth, R for reproduction, E for excretion, N for nutrition, A for adaptation. And during that discussion, we have also found different kind of basic terms, that the two different types of movements, simple and locomotion. Simple motion is found usually in plants and the things that are found on one point, and but the animals, they perform both things. They perform locomotions as well as they perform simple motion. Okay, now the second one is respiration, and during the discussion we have also found one of the point that there is a huge difference between breathing and respiration. We will also discuss that point in our particular lecture. But the basic thing is that respiration occurs out of the cells, and respiration occurs inside the cells, and breathing occur out of the cell. Respiration is a series of chemical reaction and chemical change in which glucose is broken down to produce different compounds like carbon dioxide, water, etc. Okay, and when we talk about the breathing, breathing means gaseous exchange. And one more thing that I missed during the lectures, it's my mistake, sorry. There are two type of respiration. We will also discuss them. There are two type of respiration. One is called aerobic respiration, in which aero means air, or O2. When you talk about the aerobic respiration, aero means, when you use the word aero means air. Or why we are using the word aero means called the respiration which needs oxygen. What kind of oxygen? Molecular oxygen. Okay, let's suppose ozone is also one type of oxygen. Oxygen is uh, also found in water, but the oxygen which is found only in O2 state, in molecular oxygen, and we inhale that oxygen, this is called aerobic respiration. But when talk about another definition, this is called anaerobic respiration. N means an means not. Anaerobic means in which no oxygen is required, and without oxygen glucose is oxidized. Anaerobic. Okay, and we will also discuss these things in detail, inshallah. And anaerobic respiration, the sensitivity means to respond uh, with respect to external or internal stimulus or stimuli. And then we also discuss one of the great thing that uh, growth, basically the growth, the term of the growth is associated with the cell division. And the first of all, the cell division occur, and then the newly cells, they expand their cell mass and cell size. And then because they are just going to get ready their cell to perform again cell division. So growth means irreversible increase in cell mass and cell size. And reproduction, the word reproduction is basically to generate the living organism, to continue the generation. Means if I'm a living organism, I will perform reproduction to produce my progeny, my youngsters, and they will continue their generation. Re means again, and production means production of again and again. What kind of production? Again on again, new living organism. Then excretion means removal of metabolic waste. When we talk about the metabolic means the biochemical. Okay, the metabolic waste means the biochemical reaction. When we talk about the metabolism means the biochemical reaction. Okay, the metabolism means biochemical reaction. Then nutrition is the ability of an organism to get the nutrients for different purposes, like to get energy, like to get the raw material, etc., etc., etc. And adaptation means the change which occurs according to the environment. Okay, and it's a very slow reaction process. And the one term that we have also studied here, that is catabolism. Catabolism means the breakdown of the substances. That was the thing that I just prepared in my mind. And this is one of the second lecture that I have given to you. Is there any kind of ambiguity I'm here to discuss?
No, sir.
Okay, everything is clear. Now this is just a superficial thing that I have told you that. And especially the cyclosis, the term that has also been used in your syllabus. The cyclosis means cytoplasmic movements. Okay, now this is all about me, and this is your teacher Shazad Ahmed. Uh, Please do visit my YouTube lecture, because just to recall the material. If you need any kind of help, that's fine. Okay, but do not forget to read your books. Okay, books are your one of the best friend. Do not forget to read your, especially your textbooks. Okay, thank you very much. It's a very nice class. Inshallah, we are going to get have another class yesterday, and give me a feedback if you have any kind of ambiguity on my cell phone, on my WhatsApp number. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.